Take a look at these two charts. Chart A is a pie chart showing the proportion of survey respondents who have some level of skill in Python. Chart B shows how all the respondents categorize their skills in several technical categories, including Python. In both charts, the self-reported skill level that the respondents have in Python is apparent and can be spotted by the size of the wedge in the pie chart or the length of the bar in the bar chart. Which chart communicates the insight the best? Well, the short answer is it depends. The pie chart answers the question, what percentage of respondents consider their skills in Python to be poor, average, good, or very good? In this case, the differences in proportions are easy to spot for a single question. The bar chart shows the responses for all questions categorized by response value for all respondents. Therefore, if you want to show a summary of responses to a survey, the stack bar chart shows it clearly and efficiently. Of course, you can create a pie for each response and plot them on the same display. You can turn any pie chart into a bar. Bars are easy to compare multiple question responses to each other. We perceive the differences in length of line better than we judge differences in area. Example 1. Data format for categorical data. Whether you're creating a vertical, column, stacked, or horizontal bar chart, the format of your categorical data matters. This is one way that you might see categorical data structured. Each question is listed as a column or a variable, and each survey respondent is listed as a row or an observation. How would you visualize this data? For instance, if you wanted to create the stacked bar chart, what variable would you map to the x-axis and the y? Since each question is coded as a variable, you'd have to select a range of variables to plot on the x-axis. Most software won't give you the result that you're looking for. That is, a simple stacked bar chart, showing each question as a stacked bar and the percentage of respondents who selected a given answer to each question.
In this example, I'm trying to plot the responses for every question in columns, which means I need to move each question variable to columns, and then in rows, I have number of records. You see how this can be very cumbersome in Tableau and pretty much impossible to plot. Let's start again. We move question to columns and number of records to rows. Here we can see one chart. In order to see all charts, we'll need to create several individual worksheets and bring them together on a dashboard. This is one of the constraints of the data in this format.
This data structure clearly makes visualizing categories as a stacked bar impossible. However, you can easily create a new chart for each question, meaning that you'd have 10 charts to show all the responses. This will just take some time to create. The objective is to map the question to the x-axis and the number of respondents to the y-axis, categorized by answer type. A long format for this data makes it easy to map question on the x-axis and answer on the y-axis. The categories and answers can be shown through different color stacked bars.
Let me show you how easy this is. Simply drag question to columns, and then you're going to drag some number of records to rows. Then you drag answer to colors, and you can reorder the legend to make sure that it's ordered appropriately, and that's it.
Grouping categories. Age is a very common categorical variable. It's a number, but you tend to count the frequencies. For example, how many users are between 30 and 35 years old? Or find the average age rather than the sum of the values themselves. In this data, you'll notice there's a column for age, gender, and income level, in addition to a variable for purchases to indicate whether our existing customer has made a purchase. If your goal is to show the breakdown by age and gender, or age and income level, what types of charts could you use to visualize your data? A pie or a bar? If you used a pie chart, then each slice would represent the proportion of the total customers by age. A bar chart can show more information. You can see the number of purchases by each age interval and the proportion by gender shown by the green and gray stacked bars. The numbers on the x-axis range from 24 to 58, with the minimum value being 23, which isn't labeled. Do you think there's a way to make this clearer? In most cases, when you're analyzing customer demographics, you're using age ranges rather than exact ages. We can group this data by an age interval. Let's say those customers in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. So rather than plotting every age on the x-axis, we can plot custom bins or age ranges.
Let me show you how this works. Click on Age, say Create Group, and now you're going to name your group Age Group. And now we're going to create our subgroups. People in their 20s, we'll name that subgroup 20s. We'll select all the categories of people in their 30s. We'll group that and we'll say 30s. Do the same for the people in their 40s. Select Group, rename it to 40s, and then finally let's do it for the last subcategory, 50s. Great, Group, 50s. Say OK, swap out that age variable with the age group variable. And that's it.
Then we can refine our chart with an insight, noting that our biggest customer base making purchases are in their 30s. In summary, when working with categorical data, study the structure. Use a long format which each observation is a row, and the variables such as question, answer, and respondent are organized into columns. In addition to just showing the sum of a variable, consider using percentages or grouping variables into logical categories, such as age range.